Much like the founders we like to feature on the show, we, the Startup Central team, love constructive feedback. So ladies and gentlemen, keep writing into us. Tell us what's wrong with the show. We'll try and fix it. You can also compliment us. We'll take that very nicely. You know, who doesn't like flattery? I'm also on Twitter. Feel free to reach out directly as well. Now, some of the largest giants that you've seen in the e-commerce space have actually been the original unicorns as well. The startup ecosystem started with the e-commerce giants. Remember Flipkart, now owned by Walmart? We've also seen a lot of disgruntled retailers, primarily the brick and mortar retailers, the kirana shop owners, as well as traders, knock on the doors of influential policymakers alleging unfair trade practices, especially when it comes to deep discounts. While the Commerce Ministry is looking into all of that and is talking about regulations and an e-commerce policy, what we have seen today is a competition watchdog, the CCI, come out with its own study of the e-commerce space. It has interviewed nearly 16 online platforms, over 100 business entities, as well as 7 payment providers. What it's come out with, it doesn't specify violations. It's stopped short of doing that, but it is calling for self-regulation. For example, it wants in plain and simple language, the terms and conditions to be described. It only wants ratings and reviews to be transparent and only by those that actually purchase products. It has to be by verified buyers on the platform. As far as deep discounts go, it wants clarity on the basis of discounts, either by the platform or by the seller. It wants all of that to be clarified. What is this going to mean for you and me? What is it going to mean for the consumers? What is it going to mean for you if you happen to be a vendor to an e-commerce platform? I'm going to try and decode all of that for you with a well-known competition lawyer. She's actually a partner at L&L, famous law firm, Kanika Chaudhary Nair, now joining us here on Startup Central. Hi, Kanika. Good evening. You head the competition practice at L&L. This has been a burning issue. If I could get your initial reaction on this study that has been put out by the competition watchdog. It doesn't say there's violations, but it does talk about self-regulation, and it does recommend what the e-commerce companies need to do.
Hi, Nantara. Thank you for having me. And that's a very sort of poignant question here. I think the report of the CCI is actually a very well-balanced report because it goes into the issues and sort of highlights them after having taken opinions from various stakeholders in the industry and sort of highlights what it could potentially look at if the opportunity presents itself and what the companies could do in anticipation to sort of steer clear of violating competition laws. So, from a competition lawyer's perspective, I think the report is very helpful to the stakeholders in the industry and especially the platforms to sort of, like you rightly said, self-regulate and correct policies that may not already be in place. For instance, deep discounting, which has been a major issue of contention, like you said, for brick and mortar players, for the kirana shops, for everyone around. To say, like, if you go on an Amazon, then you'd get a product at a 40% discount, whereas a brick and mortar player wouldn't be able to offer a similar discount. So the report very correctly highlights that such a discounting policy may be discriminatory if, for example, it gives preference to its own verticals or preference to players it may have exclusive arrangements with. And the crux of the issue is there's no basis for the extent of these discounts and how the platforms actually arrive at these discounts. So this has been a very, very big issue in question. And from the seller's perspective, they actually lose their ability to control the price of their own products. They can't protect their own brand equity. They they can't decide the way they want to discount their product, which creates a lot of confusion in the mind of a consumer also in terms of where is the best place to go and buy a particular product. So I think from a competition regulator's perspective, the biggest problem would be if there is below cost pricing that is done by these platforms. Like it obviously is. Deep discounting is not bad for a consumer. If a consumer gets a good which is at a 40% lower price at a platform, of course it's preferable for the consumer to get a discount wherever they can. But the problem does arise when the product is sold below cost from a competition perspective. And the report does highlight that the CCI would have jurisdiction to look
So
into
let
issues
me
where.
interrupt you there, Kanika. Let me interrupt you there. We have in fact seen the the Commerce Ministry also step into this action. It had, for example, redefined the marketplace. It had redefined all of that. Unfortunately for Walmart, it did it after the $16 billion buyout of Flipkart, but that hasn't stopped the Walmart from investing more. Amazon is continuing to double down on investments here. But without getting into the specifics, staying with the competition watchdog and what is done today, and I think what a lot of our viewers will want to know, will discounts stay? Can an Amazon, Flipkart, Nykaa, all of them still have the freedom to come out with the kind of discounts that they have been?
So it's actually very interesting. If you look at the responses that the competition watchdog has gathered, insofar as e-commerce in the retail sector goes, the platforms have actually said they've got nothing to do with the discounts, and the discounts are actually all given by the seller itself. It's only insofar as the food market is concerned and the online travel market is concerned that the platforms have something to do with the discounts. So if to answer your question simply, would you still get a discount? Yes. What the competition regulator wants you to do is to have clear and transparent policies for discounts and to protect the interest of a seller. So, assuming a seller doesn't want to give a discount, then the seller can't potentially be penalized. And there has to be a basis of these discounts that they have to make transparent to all sellers. So, I would, in a manner, like to say that the policy actually is, insofar as deep discounting is concerned, is vis-a-vis the sellers and the service providers on these platforms more than actually in respect of consumers.
So basically, we don't have clarity as yet on how this part is going to pan out, because we've already seen the government, for example, say, like, let's say, I'm using an example here because I'm using an example for the benefit of our viewers. A Cloudtail can't stock the way it used to and sell, which has impacted the kind of discounts we had all gotten used to. So after that, what has come out today, will it play a big spoiler?
Well, I think not really. It would be more in terms of standardization and having more transparent policies. So, would it play a big spoiler? No, not really. But would it benefit the sellers and the service providers who are currently not getting equal terms and conditions? So to say, yes. So to my mind, no, I don't think it'll be a big dampener. But yes, it will standardize practices and policies, or at least make an attempt in the right direction.
And when I was seeing the study, Kanika, it's not talked about violations. What it does say is that it'll have to go into each case, has to do a case-by-case analysis. So it's refusing to come out with maybe an umbrella decision impacting all e-commerce companies. But I think if one were to read between the lines, the competition watchdog is not happy. So I don't know whether it's going to get into case-by-case analysis. And let's not speculate that here on national television. But a lot of the suggestions it's making are pro-consumer. I would want to know the ratings and reviews that I'm relying on while making a purchase is actually by a true customer, and it's not by just a vendor or the platform. You do see global platforms like Amazon already follow that, but this seems to be a good practice.
No, I absolutely agree, and I think there's merit in the fact that they haven't come out with clear violations, because if they were to come out with clear violations, we'd say they have an inherent bias to begin with. So this is a very balanced report where they have come out with what could potentially amount to a violation if you don't adhere to. So it's almost like a ready reckoner for platforms to look at to correct practices that they may be indulging in as on date. And I think it like you rightly said, of course we'd like to know if there are verified purchasers actually putting the reviews or not, and I think that is very pro consumer. Of course we would want to know that the ratings that we rely on and the sort of reviews that we have that we see on online platforms are actually the ones that are worth relying on.
Right.
And I think this is absolutely a step in
Right.
that direction, to say that look, there has to be more
Correct.
transparency. There has to be more
Right.
how should I say, more,
Right.
the information has to be spread out equally, so that every placed on a level
Okay.
playing field.
Right. Okay, Kanika, unfortunately, we're running out of time. I'd like to thank you for joining us here to help us understand how our lives change after what the competition watchdog has had to say.